Hi everyone, I'm here seeking some gentle advice. I never planned for this to turn into a tit-for-tat situation, but after my partner kept breaking me with his actions, I ended up breaking him with my words just a couple of days ago. This might be a bit long, but I want to share all the details so I can get the right guidance. I don't really have anyone else to turn to. For context, we've been together almost 3 years. We both have children from previous relationships. His daughter is 4, and my son is 9, and we alternate custody week by week. My partner and I have known each other since childhood. He was the first boy I ever had a crush on. We spent so much time together from 4th to 8th grade before I moved away. Years later, we matched on Tinder, and it felt like no time had passed. We picked up where we left off, becoming best friends and then lovers, eventually moving in together after about 2 years. It felt like a dream, but now I can see he was hiding a lot while I was away. About 6 months ago, after moving in, I started feeling something was wrong. I have borderline personality disorder, which makes me constantly worry that people will abandon me. I'm always searching for signs. This time, I was right. One of our strengths was never fighting in front of the kids. When problems happened, we postponed conversations until the kids were asleep or arranged babysitters so we could talk. I was very clear I'd never fight in front of them because it triggers me deeply. Then one night, I came home from work and found him asleep on the couch with his phone ringing and buzzing on the floor. Despite knowing I shouldn't, I checked his phone. It confirmed my fears. A woman he'd known for 15 years was sending him nude photos. It shattered me. What hurt most was seeing him cancel plans with her while I came home early from a family emergency. He told me he was excited for my return but apologized to her and wished he could hang out with her. I confronted him softly, telling him the kids were asleep and that I wouldn't yell, but we were done. He could stay that night but had to leave the next day. He admitted he'd been struggling with porn and sex addiction. We cried, and he begged me to try to work this out. I agreed, but only if he told me the full truth. On top of that, he has struggled with alcohol for years, even before I met him. Sometimes he'd drink moderately, sometimes a whole 12-pack. When the kids were with us, he'd quit cold turkey, which I appreciated, but I wondered if he could really keep it up when they weren't around. Since moving in, he lost his job and couldn't find another one. I paid all the bills, which made him feel like a failure and emasculated. Meanwhile, I was overwhelmed, caring for both kids, working 2 jobs, potty training his daughter, and fighting for full custody of my son. I vented about him not helping around the house or with finances. One drunk night, he reconnected with that woman who'd been sending photos. She told him she started an open relationship with her fiancé, and from there, they had mostly normal conversations. I even talked to her, and she said it was mostly boredom, with occasional nude photos sent her way. He never sent anything explicit back, usually just emojis or casual replies. Weeks later, I found even more disturbing things, videos of him with past partners and visits to a kink and sex community website, including chats with men. When I confronted him, he denied recent contact and got angry, saying it was years ago. But it looked recent. He blamed blackout drunken nights. I'd been begging him for intimacy, wanting closeness almost every other day, but we had sex perhaps once every 2 weeks. I suggested dates and said I'd pay, but he said he was too depressed and withdrew into online worlds and other women. I asked for honesty, but he hid so much. Still, he promised therapy, individual counseling, and AA meetings. Despite my mental health struggles, I clung to love and agreed to try. We went to a single therapy session that was okay. The therapist said we needed daily 20-minute talks about our feelings, which we tried. But for me, the same issues persisted, his lack of help at home, hours spent outside or with neighbors instead of family, and my exhaustion. I found him a job months ago, but he quit just 3 days ago, saying his boss was bipolar. He barely brought home money, and I still managed the kids and house mostly alone. 2 days ago in therapy, something broke inside me. When the therapist asked about my week, I said it was great as a single person, but not as a couple. Tears turned to rage, and I yelled, "You do nothing." I work my ass off, and you drag me down. You're lazy with your daughter, mean to my son, and useless as a partner. I don't know what's wrong with me for fighting for someone who takes and takes, cheats on me, and doesn't add anything good to my life. I've stayed loyal to you while others hit on me constantly, but you couldn't stay faithful. I can't trust you around anyone. What am I doing here? The room went silent. He left crying. The therapist checked on me. I was tired and confused why I was even fighting. When he returned, the therapist asked about his parenting. I said he's a great father but a lazy parent. Therapy felt one-sided. I vented, and he was mostly silent, scared, overwhelmed. Then he yelled, "I'm uncomfortable." She's been in therapy her whole life. I don't know what to say. I'm scared I'll say the wrong thing, and she'll leave me. I have so much in my head I can't express. I told him if he wouldn't actively participate, I was done. I left therapy feeling fed up. We drove home in silence. Later, after work, I went for a drink with coworkers. He called and texted me dozens of times. When I came home, he acted like nothing happened, invited me to smoke in silence. I was drunk and depressed, talked on the phone with my best friend about feeling lonely and wanting to connect. He just scrolled TikTok. I joked about being horny. He actually fetched my vibrator, which felt weird. We fell asleep silently. The next morning, we woke like zombies. He said, "I love you," I said it back. After he left the room, I cried. He came back, wiped my tears, said no fighting or crying today, kissed me, and left. I'm torn, exhausted from doing everything alone but still wanting him to get better. I miss the man I loved and wonder if leaving might be better for us both. If I left, I'd be okay, hurt but able to provide for myself and my son. But he'd have nowhere to go, and his baby mama might try to get full custody since she doesn't trust him alone. He's isolated himself from family and friends with lies and drinking. His family knows the truth and some won't support him after all this. His mother even offered me help to leave. I don't want him to fall apart. I love him deeply, and this heartbreak is crushing. In summary, my partner cheated while I managed kids, house, and bills. We tried therapy, but after a breakdown fueled by rage and exhaustion, we barely talk now. It feels like the end, but I still love him and want to see him get better.